Hey, what's up everybody? AlphaFinx here. I just wanted to take this opportunity. I found out some new information regarding the DLC content that's coming out for this game pretty soon. What I want to do is I want to play a little multiplayer match in the background here, the Peackeepers deck, so you could just check out this gameplay. It's going to be a mirror matchup, and I'm going to talk about the DLC content that's coming out for this game. So if you don't want to know, if you want to be surprised when the cards first come out, well, there's going to be some spoilers in here, so you might want to not listen, hold your ears, I don't know. But let's get started. They actually found code within the PC version of this game, and it has all the cards, all the 5 decks that are being released with the expansion for the DLC, right? So all of the decks, they take advantage of this. You can use whatever mana you want in the game, right? You know, now you can choose which mana you want to tap. Well, all the 5 decks are multicolored decks, and I think they're each, yes, they're each 2 different colors. So let's go over the first one. The first one here is the blue-white deck, right? And they're bringing back an aura deck. I remember in the last game they had the aura deck, and for a while, like, I really liked that one. I was doing really well with that one. The new one's called Aura Servants, and it's got some crazy cards. There's one of them, I'm just going to go over a couple of the cards from each of the decks. One of them was Indestructibility, right? You put this enchantment on any permanent, and it makes that permanent indestructible. So right there, if you're playing somebody that doesn't have anything that can kill enchantments, you have a permanent on the board that can't die. So right there, I was like, wow, you know, that's a pretty ridiculous card. The next deck was the black-green deck, and that was called Sepulchral Strength. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, it's a black-green deck. Basically, the whole point of this deck is to just work the graveyard. You want to make the opponent sacrifice guys, kill his guys, sacrifice your own guys for, you know, some kind of benefit that can hurt them. And basically, one of the cards that stood out in this deck was Sewer Nemesis. So it was a 3 colorless, 1 black mana card, and what it basically did was you choose the opponent, and your creature is equal to how many cards they have in their graveyard. And then every time they cast a spell, they put the top card from their library into their graveyard. So this is getting bigger every turn. So that was the big one for that deck. The next one was the blue-red deck, and this one's called Mind Storms. Now the whole theme of this deck is you burn the opponent, you draw cards, and you use mind control and gain control of target creature, like treason type cards. So this one, I don't know what was really a standout card in this one. I kind of thought was interesting was the Dominus of Fealty card. Now, that guy, you play that, and then, every turn you gain control of one of their permanents and then have to give it back at the end of the turn. But I was thinking if you use that and one of the other cards in deck, such as like the Wand of Elements, you can gain control of one of their mountains or their island and then sacrifice it and put in a 2/2 or 3/3 creature on your side. And then, you're destroying their land and you're gaining a creature, So I was just thinking of different combos, basically, you could do with that one. Might be interesting. The next deck was the black-red deck, and that was the Grinning Malice deck, right? So that was basically a burn, terminate type deck. The whole thing was he wants to kill the stuff that comes into play, and they want you to discard stuff. Now, there's also cards like Reanimate in this deck, so it's another thing playing on the graveyard, but there was a lot of discard spells and creatures that make you discard in this deck. One of my favorite cards that's returning is this Deathbringer Thoktor. That's how you pronounce it. These cards got some weird names, man. I don't know, but this one, every time a creature dies, it gets +1/+1. Starts out as a 3/3, and then if you remove 1 counter, you can deal 1 damage to target creature. I think it's target creature or player. I'm not sure about that, but I remember I was just wiping out people's whole board with this one guy here. It was just I like that card. I mean, it slows the game down a bit because you have to go back and forth, but. The next deck here was the green and white deck. Now, this is the one that I got excited about when I saw this, and I was like, this is the one I want to play, It's called Collective Might, and the whole theme of the deck is get tokens into play. So, green and white, you got all these, sapling tokens coming into play, like 0/1 guys or 1/1 guys, and basically it's about pumping them up and using, other cards to help out your tokens, right? So one of the cards that stood out was the Hero of Bladehold. Now, I saw this card, before, and I really like this card. It's only 4 mana, and it's a 3/4, right? But when it attacks, it has Battle Cry, and when it attacks, you put in to play 2 1/1 guys that are both attacking alongside your guy. So that means you can hit for 7 damage right there. And if you have, this deck also has like cards like Swords to Plowshares in them. if you use that, you know, you get rid of their defender, and next thing they know, they're getting hit for 7 damage right there. So, I mean, you should already have tokens in play by the time you get this one out, so that's a pretty big deal there. I thought that was a cool card to be in there. There's also a card, Juniper Order Ranger, I think it was called. And that one, every time another creature comes into play, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it's a 2/4 creature for 5 mana. And then you also put a +1/+1 counter on every other creature you control. So that means all your tokens getting pumped right there. So that can be a pretty powerful card right there. So guys, if you want to check out these decks, I'm going to put a link in the description that shows you basically, you know, they have it lined out there, all the cards in each of the 5 decks. So just check that out. I also found out there's a little glitch within the Xbox 360 version of the game. And if you want to play alongside the Aura deck, you can do that by doing this little glitch. And I'm going to put a video in the description of one of the guys playing, you know, with the deck alongside him, and the other guy tells you how to do it. So if you want to check that out, you can. Maybe you can even try that yourself, guys. So here, I'm just cleaning up this game. I wanted to take out all his guys there, so I was just kind of wiping out his board. I didn't want him getting one of those +1/+1 things on the board, you know, a Glorious Anthem or something. So now he's got nothing left, and he's got no health, and my deck's better than his, so I'm going to win. And he quits out. But I'm kind of... It's kind of cool that they're actually, you know, they're following... People wanted to be able to use a different mana for something, you know, and then they're following the different things that people are saying. You know, they're making decks that are multicolored now, so it should be interesting. The one thing I don't really like is this discard deck, because discard decks in the past, like, you don't put that into the Xbox 360 type game because it's really frustrating. You know, you don't put a anti-land deck in here either because it's frustrating to play against something like that in a genre such as this where you can't really edit the decks completely. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on these new decks that are coming out, guys. If you want to check them out, just check out the description. I got a number of gameplay videos, so if you want to check out some more gameplay, you want to see some tips, some strategies, come check out my channel, and you can subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. I'm out.